Optimism, bias about human behavior, the assumption of goodwill. The council chamber overlooked the river that cut through the center of the city, its dark water reflecting the glow of streetlights in the winter evening. David Hartmann stood at the podium with a stack of papers in his hand. "We cannot build a society on suspicion," he said calmly. "If we believe people are capable of change, then our institutions must reflect that belief." David had spent most of his career advocating for reforms in the criminal justice system. He strongly believed in rehabilitation, education programs in prisons, early release opportunities, and policies that afforded offenders the chance to reintegrate into society. Across the room, Police Commissioner Ingrid Keller watched him carefully. She respected David. He was thoughtful, articulate, and sincere. But she also knew something he did not experience every day: the unpredictable reality of dealing with dangerous individuals. "Most people can change," David continued. "If we give them support, guidance, and dignity, they will choose a better path." The audience nodded politely. The argument appealed to something deep within the human conscience: the hope that people are fundamentally good. Psychologists refer to a common tendency called optimism bias. It describes the human tendency to assume that positive outcomes are more likely than negative ones. In social contexts, this bias often appears as a belief that people are generally trustworthy, cooperative, and capable of improvement. This belief can inspire policies built on rehabilitation rather than punishment, integration rather than exclusion, trust rather than suspicion. Supporters view these policies as enlightened and humane. Critics sometimes worry that they underestimate the possibility of harm. A year later, David's proposal became law. The city launched a comprehensive rehabilitation initiative for non-violent offenders. Education programs expanded inside prisons, early release opportunities increased, and local businesses were encouraged to hire former inmates. At one point, the program appeared promising. Several formerly incarcerated individuals completed vocational training and secured stable employment. Newspapers published hopeful stories about people rebuilding their lives. David read those articles with quiet satisfaction. "This is what happens," he told a reporter, "when society believes in people." But one autumn night, the police received a call that would reignite the debate. A man who had been released early under the new program had committed a violent robbery in a neighborhood market. No one was killed, but the shop owner was badly injured. By morning, the story dominated the local news. Opposition politicians demanded an investigation. At an emergency meeting, Commissioner Keller addressed the council. "The majority of participants in the program are doing well," she said carefully. "But we cannot ignore the fact that some individuals remain dangerous." Her tone was measured, but the message was clear. Policies built on optimism had collided with the unpredictability of human behavior. The city quickly divided into two camps. Supporters of the reform argued that one tragic case did not invalidate the broader success of helping hundreds of people rebuild their lives. Critics argued that the policy had been based on an overly optimistic assumption about human nature. "If even one dangerous person slips through," one columnist wrote, "the cost can be devastating." Both sides believed their reasoning was obvious. Both believed the other side was ignoring reality. Human beings are complicated. Some people change when given the opportunity and support, others do not. The challenge for policymakers is that no system can perfectly distinguish between the two. Optimism about human behavior can inspire generous and humane institutions. But if that optimism becomes too confident, critics fear it may overlook the small minority of individuals capable of serious harm. Late one evening, David and Commissioner Keller found themselves alone in the council building after another long meeting. David stared out the window at the quiet city streets. "I still believe most people want to do the right thing," he said softly. Keller nodded. "So do I," she replied. Then she added something he had not expected. "But my job has taught me something else as well." He turned toward her. Good societies, she said, hope for the best in people, but they also prepare for the worst. Political debates about trust, rehabilitation, and social integration often stem from different assumptions about human nature. Some people emphasize humanity's capacity for growth and cooperation. Others emphasize the need to guard against the minority capable of exploitation or violence. The tension between these views has shaped laws, institutions, and political movements for centuries, not because one side values society and the other does not, but because they start from different expectations about how people behave.